Okay, today we'll continue with chapter 4. Alright, after that we'll move on to chapter 5. Alright. So for chapter 4 we have covered the first part, okay, referring to efficient market hypothesis. Okay, as well as understanding momentum and reversal effect. Okay, this could be due to behavioral aspect of the investors. So now we move on to another topic in chapter 4. Alright, this is referring to hedge fund. Okay, so what is the characteristic of hedge fund? Right, and later on we talk about the performance measures of hedge fund, which we have already covered under chapter 9. So for hedge fund, the best way to understand this particular fund, right, is by comparing to mutual fund. Mutual fund, right, which a lot of you have taken PDF have learned this particular fund, right? So what is the difference between a mutual fund and hedge fund? There are many aspects whereby the mutual fund and hedge fund are very different. Mutual fund and hedge fund both collect investors' money, pool together, and invest with the managers, right, the fund managers within the investment division. However, hedge funds become very popular since late 90s onwards. And that is due to a few high-profile cases, right, such as the collapse of the long-term capital management fund. So when we talk about hedge fund, right, the investment instrument of hedge fund, right, besides those which are available to mutual fund, they also include some exotic investment. Right, when we talk about mutual fund, the typical investments, right, will be the traditional assets like bonds, right, equity, commodities. So these are the traditional asset class. Alright? But for hedge fund, beside this traditional asset class, which means the bond, commodity, equity, alright, beside all this, they can also invest in complex security. Alright, this complex security, most of the time are structured product, whereby the return and risk, right, are customized. So the complex security may not be liquid at all. So this is something different, right, in terms of the underlying investment assets. So this is the part where we talk about complex security here. Right. Example, a structured product or derivatives. So beside the instrument could be different from the traditional mutual fund. In terms of the investment strategy, right, it's also different. What is the typical investment strategy of a mutual fund? Right, we say that it is long bias. Right, because a mutual fund managers typically decide on what to invest in. So they decide on putting more of the fund's money, right, into equity markets. However, if let's say they feel that the equity market is overvalued, right, it's too expensive, they will not be going on a short position, right? They will not short sell the stocks in the marketplace. That's why I say a typical mutual fund, the strategy is long bias, right? They can buy stocks or they reduce it to zero holding, but they seldom or they are unlikely, right, to go into a short position. But when we talk about the hedge fund, right, the hedge fund investment strategy is very, very flexible. So of course, they will be able to buy, right? But besides buy, they can also short sell in the marketplace. Right. In fact, when we go through some of the initial hedge fund in the marketplace, you learn that a lot of them are actually using a market neutral strategy. market neutral strategy as in they will long and short in the market. They will take both sides of the market, right? But they are earning from the spread differential. For example, they could buy ordinary stock of a company and short the previous stock of the company, right? So they will be on both sides of the market, but based on highly correlated instrument, not the same assets, right? Highly correlated instrument, so that they are betting on the price between them converging or diverging. Later we'll talk about this convergent and divergent strategy, right? Which is known as a pair trading. So the flexibility in investment strategy, right? This is a hedge fund strategy. So because the investment could be in complex security where it's high risk, illiquid, right? And the type of strategy they're using, could be flexible, right? Highly risky, such as short selling. So when we talk about the initial capital, right, or initial investment amount, the typical initial investment amount to start investing in a mutual fund, that is about $1,000, right? For example, if you want to invest in Singapore, a listed company, a mutual fund, right? The hurdle is not very high. You just have 1,000, you can subscribe to the fund. A very low hurdle. Yeah. But when we talk about hedge fund, the initial investment, right, is set very high. It's set at around last time is around 200 to 200,000. Now for some hedge fund they have reduced it to about 100. But I think I will still use 200,000 as a entry level. So if you don't have 200,000, right, you will not be able to invest directly in a hedge fund. So why, right? Why is this initial investment set at such a high level? Right, this commitment of capital part, right, may involve high amount of capital on the part of the investors. Investor investing in fund, they have to put up a large amount of capital. And why, right? This initial investment amount is set so high, right? Part of the reason is because, right, when we talk about the regulation imposed on this hedge fund, it is unlike mutual fund. Mutual funds are heavily regulated. Alright, mutual funds are heavily regulated. For example, if the fund wants to offer its investment to public investors, right? In Singapore, they have to get a prospectus for the fund before they can do it. And prospectus preparation is a very tedious work. So it involves a specialist help and it costs a lot of money, right? So the reason is because mutual fund can target at retail investors, right? So heavily regulated as it can target retail investors. Retail investors like you and me, alright? When we talk about a hedge fund, the regulation is not as strict, right? The regulation on hedge fund is not as strict. Yeah. So they are lightly regulated. They are subjected to very, very few requirements. And the reason is because they are not targeted at retail investors, right? So lightly regulated as they are not allowed to target retail investors. Right, which is the reason why the initial investment amount is set at such a high level. So if you are talking about the retail investors, like you and me, we may have difficulty trying to raise that sizable capital, right, to invest directly in a hedge fund. So this serves as a barrier to entry. The high capital amount serves as a barrier to entry, right? So who are their clients? So their clients are typically the high net worth individuals in Singapore context, right, those high net worth individuals are known as accredited investors. That is the definition in law. Yeah. So you don't need to use that definition at all. We are not talking about the law in Singapore. So typically we are talking about the hedge fund targeted only at the high net worth individuals. The international standard for that is those individuals with US $1 million in net assets. Alright? So if an investor has more than 1 million net assets for investment, they will be considered as high net worth individuals. And they will have no difficulty in raising that 200,000 to invest directly in a hedge fund. Yeah. So this partly was because, right, the type of hedge fund could be risky as they invest in complex security, and the strategy is high risk as well. Yeah. So you must know this hedge fund, their target niche market, right, is actually very small. So for this high net worth individual who invest in a fund, there is typically a lock-in period. Right, lock-in period means once you invest, you are not allowed to actually redeem your investment anytime you like, right? There is actually a time period before you can redeem it. So this is unlike a mutual fund. Mutual fund, you invest 1,000 today, you can actually withdraw it tomorrow. There's typically a lock-in period. But for hedge fund, there's a typical lock-in period, like 1 year. The reason is because, as I mentioned, we invest in complex security where it is illiquid. So if you redeem anytime, right, it will force the managers to sell away their assets, right, at a loss. So that's why they discourage redemption. And say that typically once you invest in a hedge fund, right, you are supposed to put the money in there for a period of like a year or more. Yeah. So in some cases where you make redemption request, the manager, if they cannot sell the assets to raise cash, they may actually need redemption in kind. That means instead of giving you cash, they actually give you securities. Yeah. So that is the style of the hedge fund. Right? So the investors may have to commit their capital for a fixed term. That is the meaning of having a lock-in period applied. So they don't need to worry too much about the investors' redemption at all. So other than all these differences, right? Ever since long-term capital management fund failed, right? There is this interest in hedge fund. As a hedge fund actually targeted on earning the investors an absolute return, right? So their investment objective is also different, right? The typical mutual fund investment objective is relative to benchmark, right? Relative to benchmark. For example, if STI index last year was 20%, then the mutual fund managed to give you 30%. The managers will say that, hey, I have beat the market, right? Because I have earned 10% more than the benchmark, assuming STI is the benchmark. Yeah. So the investment objective of mutual fund is relative basis compared to a benchmark. But when we talk about hedge fund, the investment objective is not typically relative, right? It is an absolute return target. Right, because a lot of investors don't really appreciate that. Hey, you hit the benchmark, so what, right? For example, the benchmark STI is down by 20%, and the mutual fund is only down by 10%. Even though, right, the funds has decreased in value, but because it decreased less compared to the benchmark, right, the manager will say, hey, I beat the benchmark. Yeah. So for investor point of view, the fund value is down, that means I lose money. Right? So what is the point of view beating the benchmark? I'm still losing money. So a lot of investors actually was looking for an absolute return target. That means they hope that in good or bad time, the hedge fund will be able to deliver a positive return. So the typical absolute return set was around 10%, around that. Yeah. So most of the hedge funds try to offer these investors an annualized return of 10% per year. But you must know that this 10% per year is not guaranteed, right? It's just a target they hope to achieve, but it's not a guaranteed amount, Alright, so it's possible that the hedge fund can still turn in a negative return. Okay, so because of this performance objective, alright, is set as such, the mutual fund, right, typically also set incentive fee as well. Right, this incentive fee is payable to the manager if they manage to outperform the set target. Right. So when we talk about mutual fund, this is typically not set up. However, for the incentive fee charge, incentive fee and management fee. Let's do this together. Right. So when we talk about mutual fund, the incentive fee is not set. Right. No incentive fee usually. And management fee is around 1.5%. Management fee. Right, based on AUM. Alright, you often come across this AUM in the fund sheet, alright, or in the advertisement. This refers to asset under management. Alright, AUM is asset under management. So the manager typically pay themselves around 1.5% annually, right? Based on the asset that they are managing. And they don't usually charge an incentive fee for it. But for a hedge fund, right, the management fee can be quite high, right? So for hedge fund, it is typically around 2.5% management fee, right? Again, based on asset under management, right? Plus, usually a 20% incentive fee, right? If we outperform the benchmark, so 20% incentive fee above absolute return target. So for example, the absolute return target was 10%. But for that year, right, the hedge fund returned 50%. So there's about 5% outperformance compared to the absolute return target. So the 5%, the manager will pay themselves 20% of that 5%. Alright, so they pay themselves 1%. Yeah. So it's actually very, very lucrative to run a hedge fund. Which is why a lot of mutual fund managers, after some time, they move, right, to set up their own fund and call their fund a hedge fund. Because when they call themselves a hedge fund, right, they can charge a very high management fee. And they are subjected to less regulation as well. Right? Of course, you must have clients who are willing to part money with you. So you must be able to convince the high net worth individuals as well as the corporation that you can do better. Otherwise, you will not be able to survive in the hedge fund industry. So a lot of hedge fund was set up with the intention to capitalize on this demand in the market, right? Because people like to earn absolute return which is positive at all times. But I can also tell you that most of the hedge fund fail in the initial years. So it's not good enough to say, I'm a hedge fund, right? But you cannot deliver unless you exit from the market very soon. So this incentive fee, right? They also differentiate the mutual fund and hedge fund. Last but not least, right? When we talk about the characteristic of these two funds, there's also a difference in terms of the leverage used, right? Leverage means the amount the fund borrowed, right, to invest in the marketplace. So a typical mutual fund has no or low leverage. The reason is because the mutual fund, right, are subject to high regulatory requirement. So they cannot borrow money, right, to increase their exposure. The only time they are allowed to borrow is because they want to meet a redemption request. For example, their money is fully invested, but now the customer go to them and say, hey, I want to withdraw my money. Right? So instead of selling the assets, right, the manager may actually borrow, that means go on leverage to meet the redemption request, and then find an appropriate time to sell the immediate security. Yeah. So that is the mutual fund. However, for hedge fund, you realize that some of their strategy actually rely on high leverage. Because the strategy is trying to capitalize on maybe the spread differential, right? Buy low, sell high, for two securities which is highly correlated. Okay, so only when the securities prices move together towards each other, then they'll be able to make money. Okay, and hence what they do is they typically take on a high leverage position. Right? Imagine if they do go on high leverage, right, they may earn only $1. Okay, but if they go on high leverage, they may earn 10 times more or 20 times more. Okay, so that will be more attractive from investor point of view. So the typical position of hedge fund is on leverage, high leverage aspect. So these are the main characteristics when we talk about mutual fund and hedge fund. Okay, so in the next few slides, we talk about more relating to the history of hedge fund as well as the strategy, right? The specific strategy. Okay, some of the strategy employed by hedge fund is quite interesting. So hedge fund was first identified when there's this company, A.W. Jones and Company, they set up an investment, relying on long and short position in equity. Okay, so what this means is the A.W. Jones and Company funds, right, is to long undervalued stock and short overvalued stock. So they're on both sides of the market, they're trying to capitalize on their research to identify this opportunity. Okay, so they call themselves hedge fund, and they actually charge very high performance fee, like 20% on top of the management fee of 2.5, right? So there is actually one of the fund managers in this fund who subsequently moved to Morgan Stanley, right, and become a very prominent hedge fund himself. Okay, so he wrote one of the books, right, in which he exposed this A.W. Jones and Company to be a so-called hedge fund, but not really a hedge fund in essence. Okay, what they are doing is just like any other mutual fund, where they buy security where they deem to be undervalued and sell security which is overvalued, right? So it's nothing very different from the other mutual fund, except for the management fee they collect, right, is obscenely high. Yeah. So the hedge fund typically come about when we talk about some of the very prominent case, like George Soros. Remember about George Soros in the beginning of this chapter, right? So the George Soros fund is actually a hedge fund. And how the hedge fund management make money in the case for George Soros, they actually place a bet that the pounds will devalue. So they borrow a lot of money in pounds, and using this short sell, this borrowed money, right, invest in other European Union member currency, like Italian lira and the other currency. So they are trying to use this macro strategy, right, to make money. So this is the first few cases of hedge fund that have been successful in the marketplace, right? But the very first hedge fund that was identified was the A.W. Jones and Company. So there are many hedge fund strategies. The initial hedge fund strategy typically focus on fixed income, and subsequently they move on to active equity ownership, right? Let's talk about the fixed income strategy. Right, one of these strategies employed by long-term capital management fund before it failed is known as on-the-run and off-the-run strategy. So what is on-the-run and off-the-run? This is referring to a 30 years US T-bond. Alright, this is referring to US T-bond, right, which has a term to maturity of 30 years. So when it's newly issued, right, this newly issued is known as on-the-run issue. Right, on-the-run issue. So old issue, but it's still not matured yet. Right? This is off-the-run issue. So that's the meaning of on-the-run and off-the-run. Alright? So how frequently the government actually issue new 30 years treasury bond in the marketplace? Alright? So new issue of T-bond, right, is done every 6 month interval. So if now the government issue a 30 years T-bond, 6 months later they will issue a new 30 years T-bond. So that means the old issue will have a typical maturity of 29.5 years or less. Okay? So this new issue, of course, will have a maturity of 30 years, right? No doubt, new issue of course have full maturity. But when we talk about old issue, once there's a new issue come out, then the initial new issue become off the run issue already. So this will have 29.5 years or less. Right? Because it's every 6 monthly new issue will be issued by the government. So what was observed by LTCM is on the run issue and off the run issue are not in parity relationship. By right, 30 years T-bond versus 29.5 years remaining T-bond. Given that the maturity is so far away, right? There should not be any significant price difference between them. 29.5 or 30 years is more or less the same, right? But this new issue is subject to the bidding process. Right, every time the government issue new security in the marketplace, they will invite the primary dealer, basically the bank, right, to bid for the new issue. So this bank, they are competing with each other, right, to subscribe to the new issue. So as they compete, they will be very aggressive in the bid, right? So the price of this 30 years T-bond new issue are typically high, which means the yield is typically low. Remember, price and yield are inverse, right? So the yield is typically low, the price is typically high for this. But once the 30 years bond turn off the run, because there's a new issue coming up, right? And this is traded in the secondary market. Right, it's not subject to the bidding process. It is traded in secondary market. So the price start to normalize, right? So the price become relatively lower, and the yield is higher. Yeah. So when comparing the two, right, this 30 years bond is deemed to be overvalued compared to the 29.5 years bond. All right. So there's this observation. On the run, relatively overvalued versus off the run. Right, so it's a relative valuation. Right, the 30 years bond is deemed to be too expensive compared to the 29.5 years bond. Right, so what is the trading strategy? Trading rules to take advantage of this. So when we talk about a new issue is being issued by the government today, the hedge fund managers will typically short the new issue because it's deemed too expensive. Right. At the same time, they will try to buy the off-the-run issue because it is relatively cheap. Okay? So this is done together. Right? When the new issue is issued by the government, they will short the on-the-run issue and long 29.5 years off-the-run issue. So they will wait for 6 months to pass. Right? This is 6 months later. Right, 6 months later. T equal 1 and 6 months later. So 6 months later, this on the run will become 29.5 years. This 29.5 years will become 29 years. So they will unwind, right? They will buy back. The on the run issue which has turned off the run, and they will sell the off the run issue, which is now left with 29 years. Yeah. So they will hope that the price gap right, between these two issues will narrow. Then they will be able to profit. Right? So basically, the fixed income strategy is to profit from narrowing the spread over 6 months. right? So they put that by holding on to this, 6 months later the price will normalize. Then the price will try to converge closer to each other. Then they will be able to profit from it. So this type of strategy is considered relatively safe. The reason is because the LTCM is actually on both sides of the market, right? They are on the long position as well as short position. So even if the interest rate shoot up a lot or drop a lot, it will not impact on the LTCM position significantly. What they are trying to bet on, as I said, is to bet that the yield on the new and old issue will narrow over time. Alright? That's why it is considered typically safe. But this actually exposes LTCM to high risk because of the leverage. Instead of using whatever they have to take a position, they typically go on several times their capital to position on this instrument. So due to the leverage, their position quite risky. So LTCM together with other position, it actually lose a lot of money, right? Back in 1990s, and hence subsequently they need to build up by a lot of financial institutions. This LTCM is actually a very prominent name. The reason is because the fund managers of this LTCM is a renowned option pricing formulas, Black-Scholes and Orton. Alright? So even though the fund has gone down, the professor remain popular in the market. So when we talk about hedge fund, the initial strategy is usually involving fixed income. Right? They are using fixed income to do the market neutral strategy. But subsequently, a lot of hedge funds move away from this fixed income, and they try to exploit their knowledge, in taking advantage of the equity market. And they are unlike a mutual fund, where the investment in the equity instrument is passive. For example, if let's say the mutual fund manager feel that the Singapore market has room to go up, they will try to buy those companies that they think has promising potential. They then hold, for the price to go up before they sell it again. However, when we talk about the hedge fund in this case, sometimes they may take an active role, being a shareholders of firm. That means they will go to the AGM, and then they will try to vote, to support a certain agenda. Unlike mutual fund, typically they buy, they sell without getting involved in the AGM for the shareholders. So one such incident, is a hedge fund involvement in the Deutsche Börse exchange. So the Deutsche exchange has made an offer, to buy London stock exchange. So Deutsche Börse is basically the acquirer, whereby the London Stock Exchange is the target company. So the announcement has been made. So upon announcement, of offer, offer by Deutsche Börse to buy the share of London Stock Exchange, to acquire the control of London Stock Exchange. You expect that the London Stock Exchange share price will go up, right? So the share price of LSE has gone up. This is typically the case because for an acquirer to acquire a significant stake in the company so that they gain control, they will have to pay a premium to the market price of the target firm. That's why the price of LSE bond, the announcement of offer by Deutsche Börse, the share price has gone up, move up a lot. And because the acquirer has to pay a premium, the typical behavior of this price of okay, Deutsche Börse, right, will have gone down. So what happens if, let's say, okay, subsequently, okay, the acquisition is successful? Okay, if the acquisition is successful, okay, we expect the price of LSE to continue moving up, okay, while the price of Deutsche Börse to go down. Okay. However, in this case here, okay, the hedge fund, right, what is the position? Right, the hedge fund position is they long, okay, Deutsche Börse shares, right, and they short, okay, the London Stock Exchange shares. So what do you think is in their mind, right? Since they are taking this position, they long Deutsche shares and they short, okay, London Stock Exchange shares. Okay, so do you think that the hedge fund, okay, are convinced that the acquisition will be successful or unsuccessful? Unsuccessful, right? Okay, so actually they are trying to bet that, okay, the whole takeover will not be successful at all. And they have a way to, okay, increase the probability of that happening. Okay, how? They are long in Deutsche shares. Okay, so for Deutsche, okay, to continue with the takeover, okay, there's a few hurdles to clear. Number one, regulatory hurdle. Okay, because, okay, usually an exchange, right, is identified to be a national icon. Okay, like Singapore Stock Exchange, okay, is like a national icon. Okay, so it's very unlikely that, okay, the authority here, okay, will allow, okay, Singapore Exchange to go into the hand of foreigners. All right. So, okay, regulatory requirement is, okay, necessary. Okay, so in this case here, okay, both are actually, okay, in Europe. All right. If it's, okay, one Asian company and one European country, I can tell you that Asian country typically cannot get approval. Okay, so that has been the case many times in the past, right? Where the Asian company trying to buy, okay, a European company, okay, they always fail to obtain the regulatory hurdle. Okay, but in this case here, most likely the regulators are inclined, okay, to approve it. Okay, but once the regulator approves it, then the next hurdle is the shareholders, right? So the shareholders of Deutsche Börse Fund agree, okay, to buy over London Stock Exchange as they are paying the premium, okay, to acquire the share, right? So being, okay, long in, okay, Deutsche shares, right, this will allow them to vote against, right, acquisition. Okay, vote against, okay, the offer. Okay, so if they have a significant stake, okay, they will have, okay, almost, okay, the certainty, okay, that the, okay, acquisition will not be completed, right? For example, if they are holding on to 20-30% stake in Deutsche Börse, okay, do you think, okay, the offer, right, to buy over London Stock Exchange will be approved by the shareholders? You do not. That's why, okay, here the, okay, hedge fund, right, they are very smart. Okay, in fact, they take an active role to ensure that positions are profitable. So subsequently, okay, the whole offer was called off. Okay, and after the offer called off, okay, what happened to the share price of LSE? Okay, it will decline, right? Because, okay, the price has gone up, okay, in view of the offer, okay, where the, okay, Deutsche Börse has paid a premium for the London Stock Exchange shares. So once the offer was called off, the share price of this LSE will drop, and the hedge fund is short in it, so they make money in this position. Okay, moreover, okay, they also have a long position in Deutsche Börse, right? So when the offer was called off, the share price of Deutsche will also move up. Okay, then they can make money from that. Yeah. So they have, okay, acted on the selfish, okay, perspective, okay, to vote against the offer, right, in order to make money. Okay, but the academicians subsequently do a calculation, right? Should the, okay, acquisition be completed, okay, if Deutsche is able to buy over London Stock Exchange, okay, actually there's synergy between the two exchanges, which could create a benefit for both economy. Yeah. So it seems, okay, like in this case here, hedge fund, right, is just doing it for their own selfish profit. Yeah. So this, okay, highlight to you, okay, sometimes hedge fund can go, okay, beyond, okay, passive ownership, right, to take an active role in order to ensure that their strategy is successful. Okay, so this case should also prompt you that, okay, a lot of these hedge funds, right, who are successful are actually very smart people. So does a hedge fund actually hedge? Okay, because we use the word hedge, right? Okay, actually the answer, okay, is that sometimes yes, sometimes no. Okay, that's why we use the word. Okay, the hedge fund is actually a very heterogeneous group. They have very different kind of investment style. Some go on market neutral strategy, that means they are on the long as well as the short side of the market. So in that case, we can say to some extent they are hedged. Okay, but for some funds, they are not. For example, some funds they are on the short selling side. They don't have long side, they just short sell. Okay, then in that case, the hedge fund actually not hedge at all. Okay, then there are some macro funds, right, like the George Soros fund. Okay, where at times they could be just on one side of the market, right? It could be, and they go on high leverage as well. Okay, so you cannot think that because you use the word hedge, hence the fund is safe. It's actually not safe at all. Okay, which is why the regulator insists on the hedge fund setting the hurdle high. Okay, so any investor who like to invest directly in the fund, they must make sure that they have at least 200,000 to begin with. So is hedge fund good or bad for the industry? Some say that the hedge fund is good because it causes the market to be efficient. As the hedge fund are there to exploit opportunity. But we must always bear in mind that hedge fund at times can bring a lot of disturbance to the whole market, especially if there's a consensus trade. This consensus trade doesn't mean that the hedge fund collaborate with each other to take a concentrated position in one market. Right? So to highlight this, right, let's talk about the German car maker Volkswagen. Right? This will highlight to you the risk of a consensus trade. In this case here, right, when we talk about Volkswagen, the preference shares, right, is trading about half the value of the ordinary shares. Right, the preferred share of Volkswagen is about half the value of its ordinary share. So this causes most hedge fund managers to deem the preferred share to be undervalued relative to the ordinary share, which is overvalued. Right. So because of this perception, what is the hedge fund strategy? Right. Hedge fund strategy is that they will go long on the preferred share and short the ordinary share. Right. So they are trying to capitalize on the conversion of these two security prices subsequently. Alright. So the long preferred share of Volkswagen and short the ordinary shares of Volkswagen. But unfortunately, they did not analyze the shareholding of this Volkswagen carefully. So when we talk about Volkswagen ordinary shares, this Volkswagen they have two major shareholders. One major shareholder is the government of Lower Saxony. Right, whereby they own 20% shareholding in Volkswagen. So if you exclude out the shareholding of government of Lower Saxony and Volkswagen, the remaining share is 80%. Alright? So there's another major shareholders which is Porsche. Alright, and they hold at the point in time 42.5% shareholding in Volkswagen. So if you add these two together, it's about 62.5%. 62.5%. Which means what is the available free float? Free float means is currently in the market, not in the hand of the big shareholders. Alright? It's about 40%, 38%, alright, about that. So the short position by hedge fund will need to rely on borrowing the ordinary share. So they can borrow the 38% share that is currently in the marketplace. However, they didn't realize that Porsche actually has another call options. Right. So if you know that call options will allow Porsche to exercise and buy shares in Volkswagen, right? Yeah. So what happens if this call option is being exercised? The effective shareholding of Porsche in Volkswagen will have gone up to 74.1%. So if you consider 74.1% is held by Porsche, with remaining 20% held by lower government or lower Saxony. Then what is the effective free float? As I said, free float means the remaining share which is freely available in the market, right? Not in the hands of the major shareholders. This will mean the effective free float to be around 5.7%. Around 5.7%. And these are the shares available for hedge fund to borrow in order for them to short the market, right? This is the free float. So it's basically the available shares available to borrow by the hedge fund. So when the hedge fund look at their position, they realize that oh no, everyone is basically on the short side of Volkswagen shares. It amounts to total 12.9%, right? So the position shorts, right, is about 12.9%. So they will need to borrow about 12.9% shareholdings of Volkswagen in order to cover their short. But if Porsche exercise a call option, the available share in the market will be just 5.7%. So comparing this to this, you know that the hedge fund will be in trouble, right? If they can't borrow the share, what will happen? Their positions will be buy back by the exchange. We call it buying in. And the exchange will follow the protocol to buy back. So they will try to buy back on behalf of the short seller to cover their short position if there's no strips, right? So they usually start at the market price. If the market price cannot fulfill the quantity of share required, right? Then they up the price. So they keep on increasing the price. And imagine there's no limit, no? So let's say the Volkswagen share price is $50. You will keep going up to 51, 52, 53 until the short sell position are fully covered. So of course the hedge fund managers will be very worried, right? They want to leave it to the exchange to cover the short. If they do it, right, there could be a significant huge losses subsequently. That's why a lot of them quickly rush to the market, right, to buy back their share, to cover their share. So it's actually the mentality, right? Worrying that their position will not be covered by security borrow. And hence they will quickly cover back the position before the share price of Volkswagen move up. But because everyone is rushing through the door, for fear that there's a fire. So what will happen? There will be stampede, right? So the case here is because of this worry, a lot of hedge fund managers quickly go to the market and buy back their share, causing the share price of Volkswagen to shoot up. And at one point in time, the Volkswagen PE ratio was 90 times, making the company the biggest company in the world. So this highlights to us the risk of consensus trade. The hedge fund has not collaborated with each other to take a short position in Volkswagen. It's basically the same view held by most of the hedge funds. They end up, most of them are on only one side of the market, right? And it actually brings a lot of disturbance when there is this fear about unwinding, right? Due to the effective free float in the market is not enough to cover their short. So are they actually squeezed on the short position? If you think about this carefully, the call option has not been exercised by Porsche yet. And hence the 74.1% is a perceived shareholding should this be exercised. Right? So currently the shareholding is only 42. So what risk are we talking about? There are still about 38% shareholding in the market to cover the 12.9. But it's because of this worry, that's why the managers actually burn themselves, right? Because of this fear, everyone rush through the door in order to save themselves. But end up they actually cause more harm to themselves. Understand? So it's a issue that has been raised from time to time. All right, where some managers taking a huge position in market, it actually causes a lot of disruption when they are trying to unwind the position. So hedge fund is typically the type of funds which may take a very a significant position in it. Alright, so this actually gives rise to the consideration. Maybe you should regulate hedge fund, right, and not allow hedge fund to do whatever they like. So following the year 2008 crisis, that started in US, now there's a lot of pressure on the hedge fund to review their position. But it seems there's very limited success. As I mentioned to you just now, hedge fund managers are trying to claim that their position is in illiquid security. So if they try to review their position, it may actually cause more harm to the investors than good for the investors. This has also been evidence from time to time. Right? For example, JP Morgan, just a few years back, right, has a very huge and sizable position in bond market. So they lose money, right, in the bond debt. And everyone in market is aware of this. So they know that JP Morgan is going to sell away their bond, right, in order to comply with the regulatory requirement. And many of them are taking advantage. If you are in trouble, right, and the market know that you are in trouble, basically everyone will be holding back their buy order for you to drop your prices, right? It's like when you are in a state of financial distress, so you have a property that's worth 2 million, for example. Everybody was just waiting for you to drop your prices from 2 million to a lower figure before they come into the market. Yeah. So that is what happened, right? When the position is in a very illiquid securities. So the next part of hedge fund is talking about performance. And we have already covered this part here. Right, basically, the hedge fund may show a very impressive Sharpe ratio, which may suggest that they beat the market. But this could be the result of their strategy, right? So here, Loose book highlight how hedge fund can actually do it. If by taking a short position in puts which will expire in a very short period of time, right? So most of the time, they'll be collecting the premium. With high probability of that happening, right? But at times when the market moves significantly, then the losses incurred by the hedge fund will be quite significant. However, the probability of that happen will not be high, right? So that's why in the computation of Sharpe ratios, the standard deviation will not capture this low probability, high losses scenario. That's why it causes the Sharpe ratio to be higher. Right? So this is the topic of hedge fund. So we have talked about the hedge fund strategy, right? And some of the hedge fund strategy involve betting on the spread. That means betting that the price of one share relative to another will converge or diverge subsequently. So this type of trading is known as statistical arbitrage or pair trading. So let's talk about this pair trading, right? How it works. In this example, we refer to stock A and stock B, which normally have the same price. Right, so typically, the price of A is the same as the price of B. Right, they are typically the same price. However, now we are standing here at time 0. You notice that the price of A and the price of B has deviated from each other. So here we say that the price of A is 80, while price of B is 110. Right, so this is PA, PB. This price of B is 110. Right, and this is the price of A at 80. So what you are trying to do here is you are betting that the two prices will subsequently converge again. It doesn't matter where the price converge. Subsequently, the price may move higher, right? But so long as they converge, your strategy should make money. So they can also move lower, but so long as they converge, you will be able to make money. Okay? So we are going to perform a pair trading here. Right? In this case, okay, the pair trade means you are executing okay, a trade on both security. Right? And okay, what is your objective? Okay, you are trying to bet okay, that price of A and B converge. Right? So okay, we are trying to bet that okay, subsequently price of A will be the same as price of B again. Yeah. So how are you going to perform a trade on both shares based on this bet? Since your bet is the price of both company shares will converge at the same level again. So this means you are going to long the lower price share and short higher price one. Right, so this if you look at the price of two, A is $80 or B is 110, right? So this means we are going to long A and short B. Right, so you are going to buy A and short B. But what happens if let's say you buy 1 unit of A and short 1 unit of B? You realize that the net cash flow is not zero, right? Because to short B, you'll be collecting 110 in short sale proceeds. Then using $80 to buy A, you're still left with $30. So some of you may have the objective of having zero net outlay. Okay? So this is just a secondary objective. It's not a necessary objective, but it's an objective set by the examiners in this example. So for me, if I want to do pair trading, right, betting on conversion, what I'll do is I will probably short 1 unit here, long 1 unit here. Then so long as the price converge, right, I'll be making money. But the examiners he added one more criteria. You want to make sure that the pair trading does not result in any net outlay. Okay? So that's a secondary objective. No net outlay at all. That means you are utilizing all the short sale proceeds, right, to invest in the other stock. So this no net outlay, meaning that the quantity you buy in A, must result in the outlay that offset against the proceeds that you receive from short selling B. This is the cost of you investing in A. This is total short sale proceeds arising from short selling of B, right? QA is basically the quantity that you buy in A. QB is the quantity that you short in B. You understand? So for you to have no net outlay, right? What is the quantity of A and B quantity? Right? It's based on the price. So you just swap it around. You'll see that in this case here, PA over PB, right, is equal to QB over QA. Right? Just swap it around. Yeah. So in that case, A is 80, the price is 80, B is 110. Right? So this gives you the idea what is the amount to short in B and the amount to long in A. So this means you will have to short 80 units of B and buy 110 units of A. So that there is no net outlay. You understand now? So this means to create zero net outlay. Long 110 units of A and short 80 units of B. Right, so that is your position, right, at time 0. You long 110 units of A and short 80 units of B. This is based on the relative price of the two. So what will be the profit okay, subsequently when the price converge. Okay, so to do this calculation, right, if you are familiar with spread trading, okay, you can just work out the change in spread, right, then multiply with the quantity. Okay, but okay, if you are having difficulty, as most of you are new to this, okay, then we can work out the position of A and B separately. Understand? So let's consider okay, the price that it converge, right, is P. Okay, P is just the general price. Okay, it could be higher or it could be lower. Okay, but the idea here is the price of A is the same as the price of B. Understand? Alright. So okay, it could be higher or lower. Okay, but once they converge, okay, they should have the same price level. So I use P to represent it. Okay, so now we compute the profit and loss. Okay, let's start with A first. Alright. Your position in A is long. Okay, so the price you initially pay, PA, okay, is the top. So subsequently, when you unwind, that means you sell at P. Correct? Yeah. So you sell at P. Okay, when you have bought it at PA, okay, this will give you the price profit. Okay, and what is the quantity? Right, is QA. Okay, so that is the profit arising from position in A. Okay, then for B, okay, you are short sell in B, don't forget. Yeah. So the price that you short sell previously is PB. Okay, to unwind, you buy back at the price which is P. Okay, and what is the position? Okay, is Q. Okay. So you are going to combine these two together, okay, to give you the profit or loss arising from pair trade. Yeah. So now we have right these two add together. Okay, so I will have P QA minus KPA QA. Okay, if I multiply it, right, and this is PB, QB, minus, right, PQB. Right, so I'm going to add these two positions together, to give me, right, the profit and loss. Yeah. So what happened is, what is PAQA compared to PBQB? They are the same, right? Okay, we say that we are going to set no net outlay today. Yeah. So this basically cancel with this. Right? Okay. This is the profit and loss from A, profit and loss from B. So we add them together. Okay, this thing will cancel out with this. So the profit of the pair trades will be, you take out P is a common factor, right? So it's P. Okay, you multiply by QA minus QB. Okay, what is this figure here? Is it positive or negative? Okay, this will be positive. Why? Okay, because QA is greater than QB. Alright? Okay, here we know that QA is 110, QB is 80. So since QA is greater than QB, whatever is the price, you multiply by the positive number in the bracket, it will give you a positive profit. Okay? So this means profit if price converge. Right? It doesn't matter where they converge. Whether they converge at above 110, or in between 80 and 110, or below 80. It doesn't matter. So long as they converge, you'll be able to make money. So in the next slide, it show you what happens if the conversion is at 120. Right? If it's 120, if P is 120, you take 120, multiply by this 110 minus 80, so it's basically 30, right? So 30 by 120, will give you 3,600. That is the profit from the conversion. What happens if the conversion is at a lower price level? 50. Right? So if P is equal to 50, 50 times 30, it still gives you 1,005. It will be profit at all time. So long as the price converge. So you must know that this strategy here doesn't matter. right? Whether this is converging at a higher level, or converging at a lower level. The main idea is the price converge. The profit will be made, right? So any questions? So this has been asked in the exam before, right? For example, in 2013 paper, it asks you to explain what is pair trading, right? So you are supposed to based on an example using stock A, which is valued at 80, stock B, which is valued at 110, how you design a pair trading rules that generate profit when the two price converge. So the example is very kind, right? It actually uses the same example to ask you. So even if you don't understand, you can memorize the whole steps, right? You can still get the full marks. Yeah. So here you need to highlight, for you to bet on conversion, you have to buy the lower price stock and sell the higher price stock. And if let's say you want to create a zero net outlay, alright, then what is the position in B or A? You work out position in B will be 80 while A is 110. Then you do the last step calculation, which is the profit calculation. So the profit calculation is shown as P multiplied by QA minus QB. Right? And because QA is greater than QB, this number here in the bracket will be positive. Multiplied by whatever price will be a profit to you. Then you give maybe two examples, right? Like what happens if P is 120, P is 50. You can do the computation of profit, it will be positive at all times. Alright? So that will answer the 2013 paper. Any questions? So there's one last part about this chapter 4, right? And that is involving explanation. So this part you will have to refer to this diagram here in your explanation. Alright? And let me go through this diagram with you. Tracing out the whole diagram. So focus on my explanation and not tracing out the diagram, because after you trace out the whole diagram, it will be the same as this one in your slide. Alright? But I need to trace out the whole diagram to show you what is the meaning of this diagram. So spread trading, right, is like pair trading. In this case here, you are trying to buy and sell, right, based on the price of two shares. But you can also execute the buy and sell based on the yield of a bond. That means you buy bond at one particular yield level and short another bond at another yield level. Right? So this is betting that the yield of the two bonds will converge or will diverge. So here we are talking about spread trading. So spread trading involving the differential in the yield of two bonds. So it must be pair as well, right? Long one and short the other. To help you better understand this, I'm going to use some number, right, to illustrate. So here let's say that this distribution regarding the spread. As I said, the spread here is talking about the differential in yield of two bonds. So what are the possibilities? The distribution here is talking about probability and the type of spread. So looking at the past, right, the spread could be 0. That means the two are exactly the same level. Right? The spread could be 1%. The spread could be 2. It could be 3. Right? Or it could be 4. So let's say they have equal probability. That means the probability is 20% each, right? So what is the average spread in this case? To calculate the average spread, we basically just take the spread multiplied by probability and add them together. So the average spread will be in the middle, 2%. So this spread could be the spread today, right? It could be the spread tomorrow. So our strategy is going to depend on what is happening now, right? Then we long or short the spread, and hopefully tomorrow it will go according to the way they want. So the spread here, okay, can apply to a spread at time t, right, or the transaction t minus 1. So the most important one is the spread here are consecutive. Like if t minus 1 is today, then t is tomorrow, right? Or if let's say t is today, then t minus 1 is yesterday. So remember this is a consecutive, alright? Consecutive spread. So now we are going to trace out this diagram here. So we have the spread at time t, plot on the y-axis, right, and t minus 1 on the x-axis. So the spread could be 0, it could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4, right? This is the possible spread for t. And likewise for t minus 1, right? It could be 0, it could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4. So t minus 1 precedes t. So we will know what happened to the spread at t minus 1 and decide on what we should do. So what we should do is by comparing to the average spread. So now we will trace out a vertical line. And for the correction here. Alright, so I will trace out from this 2, right? This is the average spread. Right, so I will trace out a vertical line here. And this allows us to figure out what should be the strategy. If I say the spread is below 2, okay? So here on the left of point, this point, right, the spread is lower than 2. What will you do, right? If I say the spread is lower than 2, will you bet that the spread will increase or decrease? Although the spread is 1, compared to the average is 2, you bet that the spread will increase or decrease? Increase, understand? So on the left hand side here, we bet spread will widen. Alright, that means the spread will increase. That's by comparing the spread to the average. And for those on the right, if the spread is 3 or the spread is 4 as compared to 2, you will bet that the spread will decrease or increase now? Decrease, right? So the spread decrease means the spread converge. Understand? So bet spread converge. So your strategy, whether you bet on the spread to increase or spread to decrease, is by comparing the spread at time t minus 1 to the average. Understand? So now we consider what will be the success of that. After you decided on the bet. So we will focus on one, alright? Then we move on to the other. Otherwise you get confused. So let's say we consider bet on the spread to converge. Bet on spread to converge. Now it's important that we now trace a diagonal line. Right, diagonal line means when the spread at t minus 1 is 1, the spread at t is also 1. So it's this point here. When it's 2, it will be 2. This point. When it's 3, it will be 3. Right, so this point here. When it's 4, it will be 4. Right, so it's this point here. So that's the meaning of a diagonal line. Alright, so we trace out a diagonal line. Okay, and this diagonal line basically show you that the spread for the consecutive day is the same. Alright? Okay, and when we talk about the spread converge, that means the spread today, right, is actually higher than the spread tomorrow. Where is it? Is it above or below the diagonal line? Understand? When we say the spread converge, right, that means the spread at t minus 1 is going to be bigger than the spread at t. So is this above or below the diagonal line? If you are not familiar, you just take any point. Let's say I take this point here. This point means that the spread t minus 1 is 3. Whereby the spread tomorrow is 1. So it's lower. So any point below the diagonal line, right? The spread t minus 1 is greater than the spread. That is the scenario, right, where the spread has actually narrowed down. So if you consider this, right, today the spread is 3. What is the possible spread tomorrow? The possible spread tomorrow could be 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Agree? So it's actually represented by the whole diagonal line here. Understand? Yeah. So this is the outcome tomorrow. Don't draw this first. This is the outcome tomorrow. Yeah. So the probability of you making money is this portion of mine. Whereby the possibility of you losing money is this portion of mine. Alright? So if you take another point, 4. Right? Today the spread is 4. In fact, that tomorrow it will diverge. What is the possibility tomorrow? It will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 again. Right? So is this a whole range of possible value tomorrow? Yeah. And what is the possibility of tomorrow decreasing? 100%. So it will start from 2 to 4. Right? When you trace out this vertical line each. So the full scenario, after today the spread is from 2 to 4, right? It will be covered by this rectangle, isn't it? Agree? So this will show you the possible outcome after the spread today is from 2 to 4. It covers the whole range of outcomes tomorrow already. Yeah. So now we just need to identify this one here, which is the time in which you are unsuccessful. What is the percentage of this? Understand? So what is this is the unsuccessful trades, right? Whereby the bottom are the successful one. So what will be the probability of this? In a way, we'll tell you what is the probability of the bottom. So either one will be, right? So we just need to compare. This whole rectangle here is 100% scenario. What is this portion that is being shaded? Now tomorrow the spread could be 0 to 4. And we know that on average is 2. So we draw a horizontal line. What is this horizontal line? It's split the spread tomorrow into 50% each. 50% of the time it will be higher than 2. 50% of the time it will be lower than 2. So this area which is unshaded is 50%. Right? This portion here is 50%. And the square on top is another 50%. Alright? But the square has not, on the upper square here is split into half. Right, which means this portion here, which you are successful, is 25%. So what is the probability of you losing money? Is this shaded portion. So 25% of time, when the spread is higher than average, you get that tomorrow it will narrow. 25% of time you will be unsuccessful. 75% of time you will be successful. You understand? But this is only for one possible bet. Where the spread is higher than average, you bet that tomorrow it will narrow. Now we look at another case. Okay, the spread now could be lower than average, and now you bet that it will increase, right? Okay, so again, okay, once you place a bet, okay, that the spread tomorrow will increase, okay, this okay, this rectangle now, right, basically show you okay, the full possibility okay, tomorrow. Right, the rectangle to the okay, left okay, of point 2, right, show you the possibility tomorrow. Okay, then when okay, is your trade successful? Okay, your trades are successful, okay, it is above the diagonal line. Right, because if it is above the diagonal line, okay, the spread today is actually smaller than spread tomorrow. Understand? So this unshaded one is successful, while this shaded one okay, is unsuccessful. Okay, this portion here is unsuccessful. So what is the possibility of that? Okay, again, this whole rectangle is 100%. So you count, okay, it can be divided into two squares. Upper square 50%, lower square 50%. Okay, and the lower square okay, is split into half, right? So this okay, rectangle here, which is triangle here, which is shaded, okay, will be 25% of the time. Yeah. So you can go on okay, the strategy to bet on conversion or diversion, right? But okay, the success okay, of your trade is 75% of the time. Yeah. So that's the meaning of this theorem, right? So the spread is greater than the spread today, right? Whereby you bet that this is what, right? The average is greater than the current spread. Okay, so this situation here is talking about the length of this point 2, right? So the average is E bracket ST. Okay, actually this is an error. Okay, why error is this should be S T minus 1. Alright, save for this. You should be comparing the spread T minus 1 to the average spread for T minus 1. Alright? So when you compare and you notice that now the spread is lower than average, which means this portion now, right? Lower than average. You are trying to bet that tomorrow the spread will be higher. And this portion right is telling you about this area here. The spread tomorrow is greater than the spread today. The spread tomorrow is greater than the spread today. Yeah. So it's 75% probability. And there's another strategy. Right, this is comparing to average. Your spread today is higher than average, so now it's on the right. So if it's higher than average, you bet that the spread tomorrow will narrow down. Alright? And narrow down means below the diagonal line. So this is below the diagonal line. Alright? And the probability of that happening is 75%. Yeah. So together, the probability of this trade, right, successful, is 75% of the time. Understand? No? So before you quit your study and then go back and do this pair trading, right, you must know that this probability of success, 75%, is based on a key assumption. Yeah, is this key assumption? So we are making assumption that the spread distribution are independent and identical to each other. Which is why I start with this. Right? The spread is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 with this equal probability. Regardless of whether we're looking at it at t or t minus 1 or t minus 2 or t minus 3. They are assumed to be similar. But we know that in real life context, right, the spread distribution may not be similar following some important event. Okay, for example, the spread typically is this. Okay, 0 to 4 with equal probability. Okay, but there's something which happened to one of the security. Okay, for example, the security is defaulted. One of the security is defaulted. That's why the spread go higher, right? Compared to average. So you don't expect tomorrow, the spread will go back to lower than that, right? That's because a significant event has caused the distribution of the spread to change. So this assumption here, independent and identical distribution of spread, right? This is actually flawed. Right, so the spread is unusually large in one day, most probably for a reason. Right? It must be due to some significant event. As I said, it could be the default or increasing likelihood of default in one security. That's why you want to bet that just because it's above average or below average, tomorrow it will reverse. It may not happen at all. That's why the assumption here is based on identical and independent distribution. Right, the assumption here is based on identical and independent distribution, which is correct. Right, it may not be the case. Understand? So that will be the last topic. Right, here it asks you to demonstrate why the strategy will yield a profit of 75% based on what I just described to you. Any questions? So for this chapter 4, besides the 3 forms of efficiency, which is a potential theory questions, right? You may be asked about momentum and reversal due to behavioral finance, right? Another potential theory. As for calculation, it will be the return-based trading strategy, right? Which we have gone through last week. And this, as well as the pair trading, right? Has also been asked in recent years. If no question, we'll take a 15-minute break, right? Meanwhile, you can submit your assignments 3 and 4 if you bring it along.